when getting married, they say death do us part. It should be taken literally, but some of us don't take this statement serious enough because a Vietnamese man slept beside his dead wife for 16 years. In 2009, the shocking story of the man who dug up the remains of his late wife has been sleeping in the same bed with her for the past 5 years shook the internet. Many thought that the story was false, as his way of giving grief is quite unusual, but fast forward to 2020, and the man identified as Lee Van continues to sleep in the same bed with the wife's remains. It was said that before he decided to take her home, he dug a tunnel to her grave to sleep in the grave with her for 20 months. You'd think that by now the corpse body would look like dust and smell badly, but I'll get into how he reserved her body in the next part. Part to the man that slept with his dead wife for 16 years. The 55-year-old man, Lee Van, is from a small town in Central Province in Quang Nam, opened up his wife's grave in 2004. He molded clay around the remains to give the figure of a woman, put clothes on her, and then placed her in his bed. He made it clear that he has no intentions to let go of his wife, who he married in 1975. It was reported that the duo's marriage was arranged by their parents, and at the time they married, they hardly knew each other, let alone shared a romantic feelings towards each other. They were married shortly after Lee Van got back from the military, but they soon fell in love and had 7 children. Van's wife is said to have suddenly died in 2003 upon hearing the news. Van rushed home and barely got to see his spouse's face for a few minutes before she was buried. The grieving husband was so shocked by his wife's death that he spent most of his time night and day at the cemetery. He slept on his wife's grave. But after a few months, he worried about the weather and wanted to keep the body safe with him. Part 3 of the man that slept beside his dead wife for 16 years. This man literally dug up his wife's corpse body and still to this day sleeps with it. His concerned children found out about his sleeping place and stopped him from sleeping his nights at the cemetery. It was at this point where he decided to bring his wife home with him. He could no longer sleep next to her in the cemetery. Unable to let go of his beloved, he dug up her bones and placed them in a bag near the cemetery. Then he started making a hollow statue in the shape of a woman out of plaster, cement, glue, and sand and put his wife's remains inside. He placed the hollow statue on his bed and laid next to it. And he's been doing the same thing every night for the last 16 years. If you guys want to see images of the wife's body, please let me know down below in the comments if you really want to see those images.
This is the story of the time my client got arrested while I was doing her makeup. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. This story takes place whenever I used to be a traveling makeup artist. I would travel to my clients' homes or to their photo shoot destination. On this particular occasion, my client had asked me if I could meet her at her home because she had somewhere to be, but it wasn't for a photo shoot or anything like that. She never exactly told me what the event was she was going to, but I didn't want to ask a lot of questions because she seemed kind of nervous or shy. We set up the appointment, and a couple days before, she sent me her address, which I noticed was in kind of a sketchy part of town. But whenever I arrived at her home, it was absolutely gorgeous. This woman had 3 or 4 cars outside. Mind you, she lives alone. And as soon as you walked into the front door, there was a legit chandelier. My thought process at the time is that she must be some sort of fixer-upper, because her house was way nicer than all the other ones on the block. Aside from the cars and all the decorations in the house, the woman actually seemed pretty normal and very shy. When she greeted me at the door, she was wearing what I would wear if I was getting my makeup done, which is like sweatpants and a big t-shirt. She didn't say much, she just showed me the makeup look that she wanted me to do on her face. And she told me she was in kind of a hurry, so if we could do it as quickly as possible while still making it look good, she would really appreciate that. About halfway through me doing her makeup, my client said she had to take a really important phone call and that she would be back in just a second. I saw her get on her phone, walk outside, and she was out there for probably 15 minutes. I couldn't hear much, but towards the end of the conversation, I heard her start yelling, and then she calmly walked back in through the front door. She sat back down in my makeup chair and didn't say a word. I asked her if everything was okay, but again, she didn't say anything. She totally ignored my question. As a makeup artist, it's not my job to get into their business, so I just kind of let it go. Not even 5 minutes later, the police came busting through the front door. And I mean like full SWAT, kicked open the door, bulletproof vests, canines, everything. I was absolutely terrified because I had no idea what was going on. And as soon as my client saw the police come through the door, she picked up and ran. About 5 of the police officers took off running after her and the rest came towards me. I put everything in my hands down, threw my hands up, and told them I was just here to do her makeup, that I was a makeup artist and she had scheduled an appointment in her home. They took me in for questioning just to make sure that I wasn't part of whatever scheme she was involved in. And afterwards, they told me I should be glad they got there when they did because this woman was part of a huge drug ring. I wish I could say that after that I stopped going to clients' houses to do their makeup. But to be honest, no matter how terrifying that was, it was so crazy and exciting. I still do makeup in clients' homes. I just make sure to check them out just a little bit more before I show up in some drug lord's house. On the bright side though, at least she didn't have to go to jail looking all musty because her makeup was almost done, so I know that mugshot was super cute.
Story time about why I will never ever ride in an Uber ever again. So a little background information, I was 16 and in 11th grade. So my parents decided to go away for the weekend. They wanted to go and visit some family who lived like 2 hours away. So I decided that it was a good idea to invite my friends and my boyfriend and his friends over for a sleepover. And once we were all at my house, we realized that we were pretty bored, so we decided to go to the fair. So we decided to go to the fair around 9:15. But because we were all lazy AF, we decided to just get an Uber to the fair instead of driving. The Uber there was fine. We went, we had a super great time, and then it was time to go home. It said our Uber was going to come at 10:30, but instead it came at 10:45, which I didn't think was a big deal because Ubers are late sometimes. So we all got into the Uber, and mind you, my house was literally 15 minutes away. So I ended up taking a nap because I was really tired, and then I woke up, like for part 2. Part 2 about why I will never ever ride in an Uber ever again. So like I said, my house was only 15 minutes away, so since I was really tired from the fair, I decided to take a nap. Well, I woke up 20 minutes later and we were in the middle of nowhere. Like when I tell you, we were on a road that literally just kept on going. I asked my boyfriend where we were and he said that we had been on this road for a while. So at this point, we're all texting each other. And all of our friends are saying, no, we're fine, this is the way. So then I look up my address on Google Maps, and we are 45 minutes away from my house. So then I send it in the group chat, and now everybody starts to freak out. Not to mention, our Uber driver was on the phone the whole time, but he had his AirPods in, and we couldn't understand anything that he was saying. So that's when my friend Sophie, she was in the front seat, she shoved the directions in his face, and was like, I think you're going the wrong way. So then he busts a U-turn, and he's yelling at this point on the phone. And an hour later, we make it back to my house. I have a feeling if it wasn't for my friend Sophie, we wouldn't have made it out of there.
I finally updated my TikTok app, so now I could post a longer story time. So I'm going to talk about something that happened a couple days ago, because I'm not even going to lie, I'm kind of scared. So basically, I had my Snapchat set to everybody could Snapchat me, even people that like I didn't have added back. In hindsight, I should never have had it set to that. So anyway, I get a Snapchat from a random person, and he's like, send me your Snapchat and phone number so I could send you money, with a smiley face. And I get DMs all the time on Instagram of people that just want to send me money on Cash App, so I was like, alright. I mean, what's the worst that could happen for me just sending, my Cash App and phone number? Not a big deal, that's what I thought. Don't ever think like that, because you will get caught up in something like I did. And I know I did this to myself, so I don't need to hear it in the comments like I was the dumb person in this equation. But anyway, he answers and sends me a screenshot of him sending me $1,600 on Cash App, but it said pending. So at first I was like, oh, bet, like, thanks. But then all of a sudden he starts spamming me saying, you need to send me $80 because we both need to put $80 each into the Bitcoin thing so that on Cash App it'll like give me the $1,600 and it'll send it to you and then we both make $800 and like da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, I did not agree to send you money to make money. Like, I was just saying, like, sure, you want to send me money? Like, I'll take some money. So anyway, he starts spamming my phone being like, you're scamming me. That's messed up. Like, I trusted you. Da-da-da. I was like, obviously, you're a scammer. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm just going to block you. And he was like, I know all your card information. Your card number starts with, and then he said these 4 digits. So then I got scared because I thought he actually knew my card number. So I was saying to him, hold on, I'm trying to set up my Apple Pay right now so I could pay you. I was like, my dad's helping me set up my Apple Pay, which he wasn't. I was on my way to the bank so that they could change my card number. just in case, he actually had my information. So I go to the bank. Thank God I only live 7 minutes away from it. And I'm talking to the lady and I'm telling her what's happening, and I was kind of in panic mode. I was tearing up a little bit. I was just freaking out. And she was like, honey, like, all card numbers start with those 4 digits. She was like, it's so unlikely that he actually knows your information. Like, he's just saying that to scare you into sending him the money. And I was like, wait, really? And she was like, yeah, like, watch, I'm gonna send you a new card in the mail, and it's going to start with those 4 digits as well, because all cards that have been, like, made recently starts with those 4 digits. So I felt a little bit relieved, and then I blocked the guy. But I still continued to get messages from this guy. He told me that he works with the services, like, he's in the Navy, and he sent me pictures of himself in his Navy uniform saying that he's gonna sue me and I'm gonna get in so much trouble and they're gonna take this to court because I scammed him. And he's like, I have all your card information, I'm gonna post it and spam it. Like, literally threatening me over $80. Like, it's so sad. Like, you really need $80 that bad? Bro.